Hi, viewers. Welcome to New Tribe Studios. My name is Miss Beauty. We are starting a new series of real confessions, dark stories, and shocking life experience. Every story in here will leave you asking yourself, what would I have done? Subscribe to this channel, comment, and like because every story that unfolds here is about to get more deeper. Stay with us. On today's episode, she stole him right in front of me. My roommate kept sleeping in my boyfriend's hostel room. I thought it was nothing. I should have known that any friendship that starts dying in silence usually ends in betrayal. What still shocks me is not just that my roommate took my boyfriend from me, it is that she did it while sleeping on the same bed with me, eating my food, borrowing my clothes, praying with me before exams, and calling me bestie every morning like nothing was wrong. This happened during the second year on campus. At this time, life was already stressful enough. Assignments, pressure, money issues, the usual hostel drama. So I met Jay. He felt like peace in human form. He was funny, attentive, always checking on me, and always showing up. He used to wait for me after lectures, buy me little snacks even when he was also broke, and tell me I was the only person who understood him. And guess what? I believed him. My roommate Abna knew everything about our relationship from the beginning. In fact, she was the one person I introduced him to. That was my first mistake. She was an outgoing type, friendly with everybody, the kind of girl who could enter a room and become comfortable in 5 minutes. I'm not like that. I take time with people. So naturally, I trusted her more because she acted so open. She used to advise me whenever Jay and I had small misunderstandings. Sometimes, she even defended him when I was angry. She would say things like, no, I think he really loves you. Calm down and hear him out. Imagine. The girl helping me to fix my relationship was the same girl slowly stepping into this relationship. At first, nothing looked suspicious. If Jay came around the hostel, Abna would greet him. If we were all talking or walking somewhere, she would join. If he bought us food, he would buy some for her, sometimes bought extra for both. It looked normal, harmless, friendly. The small things started changing. She started mentioning his name too much. Jay said this, Jay said that. Oh, Jay passed earlier. Jay is actually very funny when you get to know him. Hmm. At first, I even found it sweet. I thought it was nice that the two most important people in my life got along. Then one evening, I returned from library earlier than expected and met her in the room dressing up. Proper dressing, good perfume, lip gloss. The kind of preparation you would do when you want somebody to stare at you twice. I asked her, where was she going? She laughed and said, she was just going to see a friend at the next block. Later that night, Jay called me and usually casually mentioned that he had been in his room the whole evening, bored and alone. I don't know why, but that small thing stayed in my spirit. I did not accuse anybody. I did not even mention it. I just started watching. And when you start watching people who you think you trust them, the truth starts leaking. Abna suddenly became too interested in when Jay and I had problems. Anytime we had a misunderstanding, she would know before I even finished processing it. She would say, have you people settled? Or, he looked worried when I saw him. When did you see him? How did you know he was worried? Why are you seeing my boyfriend alone without telling me? Akroma de ebeko. Still, I kept quiet. One weekend, I traveled home for a family issue. I was gone for 2 nights. When I came back on Sunday evening, Abna was acting strangely relaxed. like someone who had enjoyed private freedom and already arranged her face before the owner returned. Then I noticed something that made my stomach turn. Hmm. She was wearing one of Jay's oversized hoodies. Eh? Jamawari no. Not similar, not same color, his exact hoodie. I recognized a small bleach mark near the sleeve because I was there the day he complained about it. I asked her where she got it from. She smiled and said, "Oh, he lent it to me because I was cold when I arranged." Just like that. No shame, no awkwardness, nothing. I remember forcing a laugh, but inside me, something dropped. Why would my boyfriend lend my roommate his hoodie when I was not there? How? That night, I confronted Jay. He brushed it off immediately. He said I was overthinking. He said she only stopped by with a group and the rain started. She said the hoodie meant nothing. That meant nothing statement almost destroyed me because from that moment, every red flag started coming fast. She would leave the room at odd hours and say she was going to learn with a classmate. His replies became slower whenever she was not around me. Sometimes I would call him and hear a female voice in the background, and he would quickly mute himself or end the call. If I complained, he became defensive. If I asked her directly, she would become offended. They were not just lying, they were coordinating. The worst part is that they made me feel like the toxic one. I started apologizing for my own instincts, apologizing for noticing, apologizing for feeling pain, and for not being foolish quietly enough. Then came the night that ended everything. Buboba. It was around 8:30 p.m. There had there had been a power issue in our hostel, and the room was hot and uncomfortable. Abna said she was going to another block because her friend had electricity and she wanted to charge her phone and learn there. I said, okay. About an hour later, my charger stopped working. And I remember Jay had promised to lend me his spare one. I did not call because his room was only a short walk away and I thought I would surprise him. That decision changed my life. I went to his hostel. The corridor was quiet. His door was locked from inside. I knocked once, no answer. Jamamu jese ejuma o. I knocked again. Ekoso. Then I heard movement, whispering, quick movement. The kind of confused movements people make when they had been caught doing something they should not be doing. My heart started beating so hard. I could hear it in my ears. Then he opened the door slightly, and there she was, my roommate. Hey ma, what did they do for you? Barefoot, inside his room, her wig on his chair, my boyfriend's shirt on her body. And for a few seconds, nobody spoke. I wish I could say I handled it with dignity. I did not. Ma, at this point, no steeze. Destroy everywhere. Hmm. I screamed. Not because I wanted drama. I screamed because my body could not contain the level of shock. She started saying, "It's not what you think." That stupid sentence people use when it is exactly what you think. Jay kept trying to pull me aside and calm me down. Calm down for what? For who? So they could explain betrayal gently. I pushed the door wider and saw the rest. Two plates of food, one bottle of drink, her bag on the floor, and his bed unmade. Nothing there looked accidental. Nothing there looked innocent. Then, as if the humiliation was not enough, a guy from the next room came out and looked at me with pity. Pity. Obi did you go account? That was when I realized this thing had probably been going on longer than I even knew. Maybe people had seen her entering. Maybe people had watched me greeting her in the morning after she had spent the night in my boyfriend's room. Maybe I was the only fool left in the story. I cried so hard. I started shaking. Not soft tears, not movie tears. The ugly kind that makes breathing difficult. Sorry, ma, them serve you breakfast. Do you know what my roommate said? She said, I wanted to tell you, but I did not know how. Tell me what? That while I was calling you my sister, you were sleeping with my man. That while I was sharing my provisions with you, you were sharing my relationship. That while I was defending both of you, you were both making me look stupid. I slapped her. I'm not proud of it, but I did. After that, everything became messy. At this point, baako bɛkɔ jail na baako akɔ hospital. Hostel people gathered, voices rose. Some were pretending to separate us, but their eyes were enjoying the whole thing. My phone kept ringing because somebody had already started spreading the story. By the next morning, people on campus were talking. And you know what hurt me almost as much as the betrayal? The embarrassment. Not just heartbreak, embarrassment. Because betrayal is painful, but public betrayal does something worse. It strips you, it makes you feel exposed. You started wondering who knew, who suspected, who laughed, who pitied you, who watched you hugging people that were destroying you. I packed Abna's things from the side of my bed the next day and told her never to touch anything of mine again. She moved out within a week. Jay kept calling and begging. He said it was a mistake. He said it only happened recently. He said he was confused. He said he did not want to lose me as Adam. But I kept asking myself one question. How did you accidentally betray someone over and over? This was not a mistake. This was planning. This was opportunity. This was repeated disrespect. A mistake does not hide wings in a room. A mistake does not lock doors. A mistake does not make two people rehearse lies until the victim starts doubting herself. 3 months later, I heard they were no longer together. Apparently, the same girl he betrayed me with also started seeing another guy. When the news got to me, I did not celebrate. I just sat down quietly and thought, of course, karma was rightly served. Because some relationships did not begin with peace, so they cannot produce peace. If two people come together through betrayal, trust is already dead on arrival. It had been a while now. I have healed enough to tell the story without breaking down. But one thing changed in me forever. I no longer ignore discomfort just because I want to look mature. Sometimes your spirit needs danger before your pride is ready to admit it. Sometimes people clapping for relationships are standing close to steal from it. And sometimes the deepest betrayal does not come from strangers. It comes from people who already knew where your heart is soft. So tell me honestly, if your roommate and your boyfriend betrayed you this much, would you publicly expose them? What would you have done? Lovely viewers, share your thoughts in the comment section. Like, don't forget to subscribe. Let's be interactive in there. See you on our next episode. Bye.